Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to Adam's TV Podcast. I am your host, Adam Samuel, and today we are talking for the final time. We are going to be giving our final thoughts on America's Got Talent Season 13. This past week, we saw the winner being crowned. We saw Shin Lim was crowned. We saw a whole bunch of stuff, and we're going to be giving a broad overview of our thoughts on the season, what we liked, what we didn't like, what we want to change for the next season. And joining me for the ride tonight is my co-host, Eric. How you doing, Eric?
Doing good. Yeah, good. Um, are we gonna address the Michael Ketterer elephant in the room, or are we not going to?
Well, there is a Michael Ketterer thing, and there's also another story, which I don't know if you heard about, but let me hear what you think about the Michael Ketterer story. Tell me what happened.
What's the other story first? I'm more curious about that.
I don't know if we really want to give a platform to them. I don't really want to, but there have been some allegations made against one contestant. It's all allegations. No one knows if it's true or false. I don't want to put names to it, but if you head over to Big Brother Reddit, you will not Big Brother Reddit, America's Got Talent Reddit, you'll find all the details. But let's talk about Michael Ketterer because there's a lot more details about that are known. What's going on, Eric?
Not happy about that.
Not happy about it. So I guess I'll just give the overview for those wondering. So Michael Ketterer was our 5th place finisher of the season. He was kind of painted this whole story as this very he was painted as like a good guy, like someone who was doing a lot of good things in the world. He adopted these children who came from troubled homes, and 2 days after finale, he was arrested. Eric, right?
Less than 2 days, and he was such a nice guy too. Because that's what we've been told about him all season. Honestly, I'm sorry, I wasn't really paying attention because I was looking at who the allegations were against. That's a bunch of bullshit, whatever the allegations were, I'm assuming. But for the Michael Ketterer thing, Simon dodged a bullet and he didn't know it. And I'm actually more mad at him now than I was. I'm obviously mad at Michael because that's a horrible thing he did. But I'm also mad at Simon because Simon on the red carpet basically said that Michael Ketterer losing America's Got Talent was the equivalent of One Direction coming in 3rd place. And the fact that they both deserved to lose, yes, but other than that, there's no similarities.
A Reddit user pointed out, false alarms, guys. He isn't the second coming of Jesus. Let's keep looking. I thought that was a little clever. But, I feel like this is maybe going to be the end that we're going to be hearing about Michael Ketterer moving forward.
I hear he's hear from him again, obviously.
I hear he's been dropped. He was supposed to perform with Garth Brooks. He's now no longer going to. Yeah. Man, I mean, that's the worst thing someone could do. If the
only thing going for you is your story and you screw up your story, you're not going to have a career after that.
I know. He was like a subpar singer with like this beautiful story. But if you take away the story, he's
a lounge singer at best.
And he apparently hurts his family members, which was just bizarre to read about. I mean, these details that were coming out. Apparently, he had an altercation with his wife. What was going on, Eric?
I don't know. I don't know the details. All I know is that she didn't want him to press charges, but apparently it was bad enough that they had to. So, yeah.
I mean, we weren't there. We don't really know what was going on. It's a pretty ugly story all around. But I think we should kind of try and stick to the positive. Let's talk about.
We're not going to stick to the positive, but we're going to stick to the not horribly depressing. How about that?
Yes, let's do that. And on that note, I think we should start delving into our season 13 of America's Got Talent. So, Eric, we've seen everything. We saw the winner, we saw semifinals, finals, auditions, judge cuts, and now I have the question for you, Eric. Was it a good season?
I'm going to give the same answer you gave about Idol. Yes, it was. And for the same reason you said Idol was a good season. You liked who won.
That's not the most ludicrous statement I've made probably in the past. For me, I mean, Not my favorite, Eric, but I'm happy you enjoyed it. I'm happy you got your winner pick. Our two golden buzzer acts did not fare well. Did not fare the same way, but I'm happy yours ended up going all the way, which is makes us just about even. I got Maddie. You got Shin Lim. I mean, basically the next season that we recap is going to be the tiebreaker.
I would have rather had Katie Turner on Idol, to be honest, but you win some, you lose some.
I had Katie Turner on my draft too.
Doesn't matter. I would have still rather had her win in retrospect. Anywho, let's see. So the way I took notes for this episode, I'm going to put it out there. I did 3 things I liked, 3 things I didn't like, and 6 changes I would make next season.
Yes, I have done the exact same thing. I have 3 things I liked, 3 things I didn't like, and a few changes. I didn't get up to 6. I got up to 4, but
we'll probably have the same one for some of them.
I feel like a bunch of them are going to end up being the same. But before we go into all that, before we start hitting those points, I just have some pretty broad questions for you, Eric. So, number 1, favorite judge. Who is the best judge of season 13?
Can I say who? Can I just say that it was anyone but Howie?
You can say that.
Because the other 3 all had good moments and bad moments. Howie had almost exclusively bad moments, so I'll say it was the other 3 tied except for Howie.
All right, I'm gonna say for me, my favorite judge is none of that. I mean, I have like a reason for disliking all of them. I mean, Howie, I don't particularly enjoy. Simon, I feel, is too much of a. I don't want to say like curses, but like he's like a show off a little bit. Like he loves to flaunt how great he is. And that basically leaves us with Mel B and Heidi Klum. And at this point, I've like issues with both of them, but Mel B's really annoyed me this season. So I'm going to say Heidi Klum was my favorite judge of season 13.
Wow. Okay, then.
Which is, if it were up to me, we would have a totally different judges panel with Howard Stern, Sharon Osbourne, I guess.
No.
And Sarah Bareilles. I want Sarah Bareilles. I think she would be Sharon. The judge. Not Sharon?
No.
I love that interview she did on one of those shows. I don't remember what it was.
Extra Factor?
And she said, if I have to hear one more person sing in front of me, I'm going to lose my mind or something. It was something like ridiculous, like her just slamming the entire process.
It was on a recent show, and she was basically slamming.
I think it was like on an Ellen show, like an Ellen style show.
Yeah, whatever.
All right. So next thing I want to ask. So we had another season of Tyra Banks. Some people love her. Some people don't love her. What are your opinions? Do you think Tyra Banks did a good job this season?
Okay, so here, I kind of want to get into it a little bit more because she's actually one of my 3 things I liked about the season. In that she was much improved in my view. I liked her a lot better this year than last year.
By the way, I just am reading a very interesting news article, which I guess do you want to start with some thoughts about America's Got Talent, the Champions, because I'm reading a pretty crazy article right now. If you want to maybe touch on it really quickly.
What is it?
So I'm getting some reports of some contestants who are going to be appearing on America's Got Talent, the Champions, and I guess I'm just going to come out and say that number 1 to appear is Susan Boyle.
No way.
Yep. The Sun is reporting that Susan Boyle and other names, which are not as trustworthy, are Stevie Starr and Bianca Ryan, who I think was on the first season. I don't know if that's
actually getting really big acts. Wow.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to look. It says The Sun, exclusive. Susan Boyle is making a major talent show comeback, and she's going to be appearing on the America's Got Talent, the Champions, which,
Okay. So if she's on, everyone's fair game then.
Maybe we should go back to America's Got Talent season 13 for a second.
Because we'll have to cover that later.
That's going to be a whole thing to touch on. But I guess let's get into the 3 things we like. So I am going to start off. I'm going to say my first act that I liked. Not first act, but like the major thing that I liked. I'm going to say the first thing I liked, I feel like the right act won. And that is number 1 on my list. I feel like of our top 10, we had a very obvious winner, and I think Shin Lim deserved it. And do you think that is a correct statement?
Well, it's number one on my list, too. In the finale, the right act won, and we got the right top 3 acts. So,
Eric, what was one thing that you liked this season?
Well, I'll move on to my second thing because you stole my first thing. The second thing I like actually is going to surprise you a little bit. Some of the novelty acts actually made me laugh. Human Fountains in particular.
Yeah. No, I can agree with that. There were some pretty strong novelty acts. I mean, they kind of all didn't last, though. I feel like every year we kind of get that like one oddball kind of act where it's like the tape face or like kind of like a little bit Piff the Magic Dragon where they're kind of in a category, but they're kind of also in their own little category where they're all just so like weird.
They're uncategorizable.
Yes, those acts usually are the ones that kind of get my attention. Like for me, I feel this season that act was Leo's Shem Tov. Like kind of that was he was in the same vein as Tape Face and Pip the Magic Dragon, kind of where they're like kind of in that off-ball, like the judges are gonna kind of look at them and go, I'm not quite sure how we're supposed to react to this. But yeah, I feel like that is a good point. Should I keep it going and touch on the next point that I want to? Yeah. This was actually something that of all the things that America's Got Talent did wrong, there was this one point that I think was kind of right. I feel like from the beginning, the winner wasn't known. I feel like in past seasons, when Darcy performed, when Grace VanderWaal performed, it was very obvious that this was going to be the ending. Like I feel like once I saw those two, it was very obvious that they were going to end up winning. This season, there were a couple of names. Like I was pretty sure Courtney was going to be it, and then whoops, she didn't even make the top 5. And I like that there was a bit more suspense this season. Do you agree?
Yes, but only because it turned out the right way.
But if it didn't, it would have been no, right, Eric?
Yeah, if it didn't, I wouldn't have cared. If it was building up to the anticlimax of Courtney winning after that, it wouldn't have been a good season.
Yes, but I like that. I like that there's a little bit more suspense in America's Got Talent, which is, I feel all shows benefit from like having that touch of anxiety of watching the show. You know what I mean? Like there's that little bit of nervousness. But let's keep it going. What's your third thing that you liked of the season?
I said earlier, Tyra was much improved over last year. Still not better than Nick, but I do give her credit for stepping it up.
Yeah, Tyra for me, I mean, hosts don't usually matter to me. Like I feel like if we're counting on the host to be like the anchor of the show, like we're doing something a little wrong. I feel like that the focus of these shows should always be the contestants.
Totally.
And if we're taking that attention off of the contestants, we've gone off the rails and something's wrong. For me, a host could be anyone. It doesn't need to be someone famous. It could just someone to read a card. I don't care if it's a production assistant. Like I feel like the fact that
we had people who just read cards, and their names were Mario Lopez on X Factor, and that didn't work out so well. So
you didn't like Mario Lopez? I mean, I didn't really care for his hosting.
He was smiling when he was saying all these like, but the drama doesn't stop here, and he would have a smile on his face. And it's like he was clearly just reading words. He had no idea what the words meant.
My favorite moment only of Mario Lopez was Carly Rose Sonnenberg. Do you remember that? I guess you remember that. Like, those are kind of the moments that I guess a host is supposed to deliver. But those are the
favorite moment of X Factor of all 3 seasons is Paulina Rubio introducing the wrong contestant.
I guess I should give my final note. My final thing that I liked is kind of like a backhand. Like I wrote down that Howie Mandel bothered me a lot less than he usually does. Like in a season that usually has me infuriated towards him, I feel like this was not his worst. I mean, he's had worse.
Wow.
What do you think?
I'll get to him later.
All right. So those are my 3 things. Those are all yours, right?
I'm done with my 3 things I like. Now let's go to the 3 things we didn't like.
All right. So let's go on to 3 things about the season that we didn't like. So I'm going to go first. Too much. What do you think about that, Eric?
That's oddly specific. I picked more general things.
Well, this really bothered me.
It's not true, but I mean, it's not wrong.
They sang like the main song twice, like the "This Is Me." They did that twice.
Yeah.
They did every song from The Greatest Showman. Like, it's just something that bothered me.
Okay, that's fine.
Is that too nitpicky?
If you're only gonna pick 3 things, I'd pick bigger ones than that. But okay.
I mean, I could go on. I feel like I've made my opinions known. Like, my list of 3 things I don't like is like at 12. So I feel like the ones that I've said in the past, like, have been said, and now it's time to touch on the things that wouldn't have been said. And for me, I don't want any more Greatest Showman.
Okay.
And that bothered me.
So there's that. I'll do my first one. While some of the novelty acts did make me laugh, some of them were genuinely painful to watch. Yumbo Dumb's first live show performance
Feels so good.
Was the most painful thing I've ever watched on TV.
And they made top 36.
Yeah, they didn't make it farther, but they did make top 36.
Which, mind-blowing to me, Eric. It's just
mind-blowing to me as well.
Mind-blowing. I guess I'm going to go on, and this is one of the things I've harped on the past, but I do kind of want to touch on it again. Plants. Too many plants. I feel like the only genuine act like to be on the show was that little girl who made animal sounds. Everyone else was a plant. And I'm just going to say it. Like, I don't like that. Like, I get that. I get Simon's headspace. Like, I understand. Like, he's trying to put together the show. He wants acts that he can rely on to deliver something special. But for me, that just, like, I like the genuineness of guy walks off the street and can, like, do something incredible. Like, that is the reason I like America's Got Talent. And for it to just be plant kind of is a bit of a letdown, Eric.
So mine is similar, but I'm less general than you. I say lots of acts from other talent shows, including winners. And I say that if you want another show in the past, like, 3 years, you shouldn't be on America's Got Talent now as well, particularly with the Champions Edition coming this winter. So,
I guess that's fair. I don't even know. I feel like there's a balance. Like, if you have like 1 or 2 like really, really strong plants and the rest are like regular people, that's what I'm okay with. Like on American Idol, like of the top 24, like maybe 3 of them are plants. Like there's that difference.
It's a lot more than 3.
All right, but I'm gonna pretend in my blissful ignorance, I'm gonna pretend it's 3. Like I mean, it just takes me out of the show, and it makes it seem more convoluted and fake, because then you have the girl who is off the street and she can make these animal sounds, which is a talent, I guess. But to compare her to someone who's like won Indonesia's Got Talent, like that's just not fair. You can't put those 2 in a room together and have that comparison. It's just not fair.
Okay. Next.
I'm ranting a little bit. I guess we're going to go on to my final thing that I didn't like. This is something that was probably you're not going to expect, but I'm going to say I have a little bit of a gripe with the comedian like grouping for America's Got Talent. I feel like we didn't get any strong comedians. We got one, and that person was cut in the judges' cuts. Like I don't like that there were no really funny acts this season, and the acts that they were kind of pushing as being funny kind of weren't doing it for me. Do you kind of agree on that sentiment, on my kind of disenchantment with the comedian acts of this season?
Honestly, I kind of replaced my novelty acts one with that, but my last one is still going to be Howie. My last thing I didn't like is still going to be Howie. I
didn't think he was that bad. I mean, usually he's awful, but like this season, I was like, you're still bothering me, but like you're bothering me like quietly. Like it's like a child who's like angry. Like they're just kind of like sitting there pouting, like they're there and they're doing the annoying thing.
You still pissed me off. Okay. Let's talk about the changes that we'd make.
All right. So we're gonna talk.
For me, I'm gonna put out, first of all, I'm only talking about format changes and like general show changes. I am not talking about judges changes and host changes.
All right, so I guess I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I only have a few. I didn't put together that many. I'm going to say this. I've said this in the past. This is one of the reasons it wasn't on the things that bother me. It's because I put it here. The format is just awful for America's Got Talent. I really feel like we should go back to the season with Kenichi Ibina's season where it was like we had the Vegas act. The auditions go on for way too long. It's like 10 weeks. More than that. It's an extra week for like the filler, like recap season. It's 11 weeks of like filler before we get to the live shows. I feel like we need to get to those live shows as quickly as possible. 5 weeks. It's 11 weeks now. I say 5 weeks. We do 4 weeks for auditions, 1 week for like a Las Vegas or like a cut. Like we need to get down quicker. And that is the first change that I'm going to make. And then also I want the live shows to be longer. I don't like these overproduced, like garbage, like sob story expulsion, like just word vomiting of just constant, like, oh, woe is me. Like, I want the live shows. Tell me I'm wrong, Eric.
You're not, but I'm a little bit, my change is a little bit more realistic. My change is one less audition episode, one more live show.
That's it? I mean, you could easily, like, the judge cuts don't need to be that long. I mean, like, 4 weeks?
You could, I'm talking about realistic changes. So that's the way I'm looking at it. The realistic changes, the season 9 format, which is one you liked, basically just cut out one audition episode, add one more live show, so there are 6 in the finale.
I think that season went top 48, top 24, top 12, top 6.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's better. Like,
it is better, and that's why it's my change.
All right, let's keep it going. Eric, tell me what your second change you want is.
Surprise us again. By that I mean, don't put the golden buzzer as the last act of the episode. Don't announce which judge is giving it on Twitter beforehand. On a related note, don't show the instant save results as they come in. Leave us in suspense of things. Don't just make everything a given.
Yes, a lot of things on America's Got Talent are predictable. Like the danger acts, the person who's going to go into the box and they're going to say, hey, I'm going to make it explode. That person is not going to win. Like the dance troupe is not going to win. Like I want some suspense back in the show. Like, and to its credit, this is something America's Got Talent 13 kind of did. There was a little bit of suspense to it with Courtney Hadwin, the golden child who everyone was expecting to win, not ending up winning. I like that. I want more of that. Yeah. So I guess I'm going to move on to my next point, right?
Yep.
I want to do away with the montages of death. I do not like that we have those. I don't like that an act shown in a montage is instantly not making it forward. Like that is...
Add that to my list.
This is one of the reasons why I don't like the judge cuts, because if you have an act that's montaged, that they're not making it through. Either show every 20 acts or don't do that round. Just cut it. Just have everyone be like the montage. Like, because it's just not fair, Eric. I feel like we get so few performances from these contestants. Like they only did this season like 6, was it? It was maybe even less than that for the golden buzzers.
Performed 5 times.
Yeah, and to do that, even if they were to advance.
The golden buzzer 4 times.
Eric, what do you think about the montages?
I would actually add that to my list now that I think about it. So I have 7 now.
All right. Let's hear what your next gripe is.
Let's see. Don't play favorites. Cast the show so you would be happy with any of the acts of the live shows winning the whole thing, and then actually be happy when one of them wins. By this, I mean Shimon's comment about Shin Lim on the finale and Michael Ketterer being like when One Direction lost really pissed me off. Because if the whole premise of the show is America votes, and be happy when America votes for somebody. Don't pretend, don't be mad about it.
That's just how the show's always been. Like this is
I know, but this is changes.
These are necessary changes. I don't know.
Can I go with my next one too? Because that one's
Sure.
going to be going
Keep
short.
it going. Keep it going.
Okay. Don't set people up to fail.
You're stealing my points now. America's Got Talent, they love to set people up to fail. This is like something that I feel is just known. They love to like it's the dirty side of America's Got Talent. Like America's Got Talent, I've said this in the past, and I guess I'm going to say it together again now. I feel like there are two different ways of watching America's Got Talent. There's the casual view to watching, like, say everything that Howie Mandel says is like, that's true, like that's a good point. And then there's the other way of watching it where you kind of peel back the curtain a little bit and you see like everything that is done on the show is calculated and done by a producer to achieve their overarching narrative. And in that narrative, they love to like have the contestants with egg on their face, like just embarrassed. And I don't like that. I don't like when American Idol is like that. I don't like when the X Factor is like that. I don't like that we shame people and we set them up to look stupid. Like they toot this as like being a family show, and it just kind of they love to embarrass people, Eric.
I'm not even talking about just embarrassing people. I'm talking about on the live shows when they're past that point. I'm saying like Noah Guthrie's second live show performance. That's what I'm thinking of. When they gave him that song and they gave him that arrangement and they told him this is how you're going to sing it and Simon's going to love it, and then Simon obviously didn't like it because he didn't like it before, that's setting someone up to fail. Let each act give their best possible performance and then let America decide.
But Eric, if we were to do that, that would make the fields even, and that would not be okay, because then how would Courtney Hadwin win? Oh, wait.
But it would also it would also make the show better. Because if everyone is performing at their best, it's a better show. So don't tamper with things and make people suffer, because although you might get the result you want in the end, you're not going to get a good show.
All right. I'm going to touch on my next point. Shall I?
Go ahead.
All right. My next point is I want America's Got Talent to have wild cards that we can vote on. I want the wild cards to not be picked by the producers. I want the public to have a say in this. I want once we get to like the live rounds and we know like our top 33 of 36 or something, I want a page on America's Got Talent with all of the acts that were eliminated, and I want to be able to vote on them. That is a change I want, because the producers, whenever they pick a wild card, it's always a fodder act with rare exceptions. Do you think that's a good point?
I like that idea.
Just all the acts that were eliminated, even the ones that were in like the montages of deaths. Like, I give everyone a chance. I mean,
I agree.
If Courtney Hadwin,
I like that idea.
If you want Darcy to win, let her earn it. Like, let them fight. She did, but I'm just saying, like, because it doesn't really work with Courtney. But with Darcy, like, if the producers want Darcy to win, have her fight against the best and have her win against the best. It's like if I'm playing someone in Super Smash Brothers and I want them to win. So I'm kind of not going to play as well so that they'll obviously win. But then they'll look at me and they'll go, you let me win. Like the win isn't as fulfilling. And I feel like we are the audience in that situation where we're kind of looking at the producers and we're going, that was an easy, like that was a gimme. Like you neutered all of the opposition. Like you took away anything that could have gone the opposite way. And that's just an opinion of mine.
Okay.
Was I rambling?
My next one's on a similar page to my last one, actually, which is don't bust people unnecessarily, or at the very least, be more subtle about it.
I guess that's a fair point to make. But, you know, that kind of is, I'm going to kind of jump ahead because that is one of my points. It's stop telling the viewers what to think. Like the producers, like I said, with these two mindsets of watching America's Got Talent, if you're someone like me and Eric, or is it Eric and I, whichever, like where you believe the producers are very calculated in what they're going to be, what they're telling the judges to say and what's going on. I don't like that. It murkies up the show. It makes it a little bit more, we're trying to lead you to the end point. It's like Dorothy. We're trying to push her towards down the bridge, like the what was it? the Yellow Brick Road. Like they're trying to push the viewers like a certain path down the Yellow Brick Road, and I feel like let us go down that path for ourselves. Don't let the producers and let the judges like. Ugh. I'm just getting angry as I'm talking, Eric.
Okay, so I have one more change I would make.
Let's hear it.
If something is funny, don't let Howie and the producers and don't let Howie and the judges ruin it.
I've said this in the past. I believe that the judges are, when you watch like a Facebook video and like at the top it says there's like a video here and it's like in a bigger box, and at the top of the box there's like a few emojis which are like the crying, laughing emojis, and it says, "Oh my God, this is so funny." The judges are those like bars, like they are trying to tell us what to.
That's not what I meant, but that too. What I meant was like when Howie would like, I don't even know. It was more Tyra this year. For the example I was thinking was Tyra and that.
Tyra, they do something incredible, and Tyra is like, there's a camera on Tyra, and she goes,
No, not that. Literally, like when she's involved in like the joke acts. Like remember the caterpillar guy?
I love that guy.
The guy on the caterpillar. I was laughing so hard, and then Tyra comes out with bug spray and ruins the whole thing.
Well, can you imagine like if Grace Vanderwall was doing that and all of a sudden like Tyra came out with like bug spray or something, like the equivalent of that for a singer? Like
there is no equivalent of that for a singer.
I don't know, but I'm going to move on to my last point, which is something I've said in the past. I've touched on this so many times. I believe that solo singers on America's Got Talent should either be A, abolished, or B, forced to sing only original songs. Now, there's a difference between a solo singing artist and like a variety solo singing artist. Like if someone is a solo like variety, like they're doing a comedy act or something, like that's okay. Like if the person is going to stand up on stage and do like impressions, that's kind of not in this category. I'm just focusing on like the solo, like the Courtneys, the Grace Vanderwalls, the Noah Guthries, like the solo singers. I believe, well, Grace kind of doesn't fit in this category, but you know what I mean. Like those singers should only be allowed to sing original songs. I feel that it is a handicap that someone can just pick a song off a list and another act is forced to spend hours and hours perfecting this like impossible like technology routine, and it's all ridiculous and intricate. And some kid can just go and pick a song. I think that's not fair. I think there should be a little bit more to that. But on the flip side, I do believe that rock bands, duos do not fit into this category that I'm kind of scrutinizing. Those acts, the rock bands, feel free. Go do your rock songs, your Aerosmith. As long as it's not the Asteroid song, we are totally going to be okay. Just for the solo singers. Only original songs.
Agreed. 100%. Because now the Idol's back on and The Voice is still on, you have other places to go if you're a solo singer. I think unless you're above the age limit or below the age limit, or in some way you could not go on those other shows, America's Got Talent shouldn't be for you.
Yes. And those are actually all the changes I had. Are there any other things you want to touch on?
Honestly, not really. I mean,
I do just have some final questions in closing. So, Eric, what was, in your opinion, the best performance of the season?
Shin Lim in the second round of live shows, semifinals.
I'm going to cheat here a little bit. I'm going to say Brian King Joseph and Lindsey Sterling doing Round Table Rival.
That is cheating, but go ahead.
I'm going to say that. And now I have another question. This is, what in your opinion is a performance that is underrated, the most underrated performance of the season that you think did not deserve the praise, did not get the praise it deserved?
Noah Guthrie's judge cuts and or first live show.
I'm gonna say Leo's doing his audition round when he was doing. Okay. I just love that tissue trick. Like,
okay. I'm not gonna argue with that, but I think mine was more realistic.
All right, so I guess that's kind of the season, in my opinion. Not the best season. In fact, probably like a bottom tier season, in my opinion. Hopefully, the next one's better. This season, it didn't grab me. It didn't have me invested in these acts. Like, I don't know what it is, but something I just wasn't invested in. I didn't care about these acts. Like, there was one or two that I like would slightly be interested in, but as a whole, no one really grabbed me. I felt like, I don't know. Do you agree, Eric?
Obviously not. But I get where you're coming. It was definitely a weaker season than the past two. I will say that.
Oh, and also, I cannot stand when like the judges are like, "This is the best season ever."
Yeah, add that to the list. That needs to stop.
Just let us decide. You don't get to decide if the season is good. That is for us to decide.
Stop trying to make it happen. It's not going to happen.
You random person writing words onto the teleprompter for Tyra Banks. Don't stop it. Stop it. It's for us to decide. And on that note, I guess any final things you want to touch on of the season? Anything as a whole, judges panel? Anything, Eric?
They're never gonna make these changes.
It's never gonna happen. America's Got Talent is always gonna be the way it was.
Way it is.
And the way it forever will be. It's like the Twinkies. It's never gonna go away. America's Got Talent.
It'll be the same thing even after the apocalypse. It will still be the same.
I'll be an old man, like in a retirement home, watching the television, and all of a sudden, you'll see America's Got Talent, season 84, and I'll be like, "Oh no!
Why is Howie still there?
Why is he still there?" And then you'll hear Tyra Banks going, "Hi, I'm Tata," and I'll be like, "Oh no!" That'll be my own version of hell.
Howie feeds off of our misery.
Yes. And on that note, I want to say I am Adam Samuel. You can find me on Twitter at AdamSoapbox. I run my two websites, adamsoapbox.com, adamstvblog.com. Where can we find you, Eric?
Eric_Ascher on Twitter. I'm on YouTube. And ericascher.com.
Yes. Moving forward, some points of shows we are going to be recapping in the future. Eric, what do you think we have coming up?
Well, we definitely have America's Got Talent, the champion, starting in January.
Susan Boyle, apparently.
That would be interesting.
Which was no, I don't think that's all right. Like, she's on Britain's Got Talent. She goes on Britain's Got Talent, the champions.
No, the whole thing is it's acts from our show and all the other shows too. It is like a World Cup thing.
Maybe I'll love it. Like, I feel like maybe this could be like my favorite season. Just off the top of your head, do you have any acts you're hoping maybe get a call for it?
Brian Justin Crumb is the one I can think of right now.
I am pulling for, off the top of my head, Preacher Lawson. I really liked Taylor Williamson, Leo's, Merrick Hanna, Lindsey Sterling. I want again.
She's not going to come back.
Acro Army, kind of.
I don't know.
Drew Lynch, maybe? No, not really Drew Lynch. Tape Base, definitely. Piff the Magic Dragon. There's so many
Piff
names.
Has to come back.
Who?
Piff has to come back.
Piff has to come back.
I mean, he has no reason to. He's making money on his own now.
Yes. So the next episode we are going to be filming for Adam's TV Podcast is going to be a tour recap for American Idol. We are going to be doing that sometime in the future. After that, Eric, I have been keeping up a little bit with your recaps on MJ's Big Blog of the X Factor UK. I will admit, I've been watching some of the performances because we are going to be covering it. Am I correct, Eric?
You are correct.
We are going to be starting it up sometime in the future. I already have my favorite act of the season. It is obviously Panda Ross, who I am so happy to see again. Dear God, I hope she wasn't cut yet. I know there was another round where they did the cuts, didn't read it yet, but is she still there, Eric? Just give it to me lightly. Is she still around?
She's in a group.
How is she in a group? She was a solo. Uh-oh.
She's gonna be manufactured into a group, and it's gonna be amazing.
Is it just her and a bunch of people?
Her and one other girl.
Do you know what they're called? Can we get their name? Don't
know the name of the group, but I know it's Panda and Burgundy.
All right,
and they have the same type of personality. They're both great singers. It is going to be epic.
Well, that is one thing to look forward to. And other than that, Eric, I guess we're gonna wrap it up there, shall we?
That's a good place to leave it for now.
All right, so everyone who has been watching our recaps of America's Got Talent this entire season, it was a pleasure to do this and to give. I'm so proud of you if you were here to listen to my rants about a show that I watch. I watch because occasionally there's the one act that I really get into it. Usually it's a whole lot of filler and a whole lot of me getting annoyed, but at the same time, there's some enjoyment that I do find out of it. Like I've always said, Eric, I want to say thank you so much for doing this with me, for perfect attendance. We did American Idol. We made it through America's Got Talent. Next, it's going to be the X Factor UK. I'm moderately excited about it. And on that note, like I said, I just want to say thanks to Eric again. This was fun doing this with you.
This is going to be great. I'm excited to start X Factor. We'll probably pick it up right around Judge's houses, I guess.
Yes, we will also be doing a podcast drafting the America's Got Talent, the champion season. I believe a good idea is we're each going to kind of pick 12 acts, and we'll kind of go over them as we. I'm going to guarantee there's going to be some spillover where we're each going to. Maybe we should do 14 acts because obviously some of our acts are going to be
too many. I want to pick 5.
I like 12.
That's too many because I'm not gonna be able to think of that many.
All right, you'll hear some more updates. You can follow me on Twitter for more updates about them. And until then, this was fun to do. Thank you so much, Eric, and see you again next time. Peace.
This was not a catastrophe.
It was a catastrophe.